Welcome back to the Travel Club Elite podcast. Joining me today is fellow staff member Deana Harries, who will take us through her recent experiences visiting Sandals Royal Barbados Resort.
Deana, thanks so much for giving up your time to do this again.
You're welcome.
If you'd just like to introduce yourself and kind of your role and experience in the industry, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm Deana Harries. I've been working at Travel Club Elite for 9 years, but I've been in the travel industry for, show my age, 30 years plus. And I'm passionate about travel, my own travels, and booking people holidays.
Lovely stuff. And obviously working in the industry that you're working in, I imagine you've managed to travel to loads of different destinations and that sort of thing. Was this your first trip to Barbados, or have you visited there before?
I visited there, it's got to be probably 15 years ago or more, when it was just the Sandals Barbados that existed. The Royal was just being built the last time I visited, so that's where I wanted to go back.
And so what were obviously you've had both the experiences of the just the normal Sandals and the Royal Sandals, but what were your first impressions of the resort like when you were arriving?
Yeah, it's very large and quite expansive, but you can use both parts of it. So it does give you a lot of opportunities to kind of dine and visit both sides. There's no restriction on doing that. So you can pop from one side to the other. That gave more swim pool opportunities. So that kind of made it feel less crowded, because there's several pool areas on both sides. So wherever you went, it didn't feel kind of too busy, if that makes sense. And then obviously you've got the beautiful white beach in front of you as well. So
of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think you're rubbing it in, especially looking at the weather nowadays.
I know.
So obviously when you arrived at the resort, how did Sandals simplify kind of your check-in experience?
You walk out of the airport and then there's a Sandals desk with great big Sandals written on it, so you can't really go wrong. And you just check in and there's somebody who puts your luggage in, whether you're at the Sandals or the Sandals Royal. And literally the pickup was less than 5 minutes and we were on our way. The other good thing as well, it's only literally a 20-minute transfer. So with literally from arriving and checking in, we were at the hotel within 30 minutes. So it's very smooth and easy.
Yeah, sounds very efficient, and that sounds great. So once you arrived, you obviously check into your room, accommodation. Could you tell us a bit about what sort of room you had and whether, was it a swim up room or that sort of thing?
No, unfortunately, I had a club level room come up on the second floor, which was very nice. I had views over the kind of pool area. The rooms are quite large, got the vanity tub on the balcony and a couple of chairs and tables, so you could sit out there and enjoy a G&T or a cup of coffee in the morning or the afternoon. So that was really nice. And then with the club level, you get some drink optics on the room. Well, bottles now rather than optics in my room. And then whatever you drink of that gets automatically replaced every morning. So you've got champagne in the fridge, you've got red wine, rum, some whiskey. So again, if you fancy that and don't have to kind of carry it up from the pool, then you can have a cheeky drink in your room very easily. And as soon as you use it, it's replaced automatically. And that's obviously included in the cost.
Yeah, of course. And obviously you've mentioned there briefly about the drink options. With it being an all-inclusive resort, can you kind of just describe the range of bars and restaurants that were on offer?
Yeah, they class it as 21 restaurants across the two resorts. Some of those are kind of more coffee shops and kind of like a health food shop. But they've got two butchers restaurants, which are the signature steakhouses. They have teppanyaki, that was closed kimonos while I was there, but that's normally there. They've got an Italian, they've got a French up on the rooftop. With spectacular views, and you could dine overlooking the beach and the kind of pools up there. There's also a new restaurant called Soy, which is all the sushi. That was amazing. They've got another Asian restaurant called Chi. So the kind of, then they've got little house shops. So if you are trying to keep the cocktail weight down. You could do that by kind of mixing that with a healthy kind of smoothie or drink and salads and things. So it had quite a mix for everybody, I would say.
Yeah, that sounds like a great mix, to be honest. So obviously, looking at the resort from its website and stuff, it looks like there's a wide range of activities that you can book onto and stuff like that. Did you take part in any, and which would you recommend?
We went into Famous Fish Friday, which is called Oystons. That was $40 per person on the bus. And they organised that for you. But however, we had met kind of other people there, so we just shared a taxi because it's such a kind of one of those places where you make friends. So you can either book that through Island Routes and that's fabulous. That's a local area within kind of literally 20 minutes of Sandals, and it's where all the locals go and they cook all the fresh food and the fish, and the atmosphere is really good. So I'd highly recommend people do that. You obviously have got the hobby cats and the sailing that you can just go on down to the water sports centre. If you're a diver, you can book that as well. So there's always something going on. And then they have steel bands playing on the beach, which is rather nice. And so yeah, it's a resort that you can be as quiet or as full on as you want it to be, I would say.
That sounds fantastic, to be honest. So you mentioned obviously at the start that you've had the experience of both the Standard and the Royal. What would you say the main differences are between the two resorts?
Mainly, I would say it's kind of the decor of the rooms, and also the club level. You get the club level lounge, where in the Sandals you don't. So the club level lounge, that's you've got a slightly different check-in experience, and you can do kind of 2 butches if you're there for a week. On the Sandals side, you can only do 1. So kind of, and then obviously the drinks in the room. But other than that, it's just, I would say, kind of room and the location and the check-in. It's just the club level has that extra lounge. They put on coffee and biscuits in the afternoon. They've got a separate lounge area to go and ask any questions. So that's kind of really the main difference.
Yeah, that's really good insight, because I think Zoe's going to the Sandals one soon.
She is.
Yeah, so it'd be good to kind of get her experiences on that as well. So the Sandals really pushed the idea of this like kind of VIP experience. What did you make of the service when you were on the resort?
Yeah, generally it's very good because there's always somebody to ask. So obviously we had the club lounge. You could go down there. You can go and ask reception at any kind of time if there's something you're not sure about. So the staff in that respect are really helpful. So they've got a proper Island Routes desk in reception. So any excursions, you can go and have a chat to them and they'll talk you through the prices, anything you may want to do. Because Barbados is relatively safe and not an issue to go out of the resort, they absolutely encourage you to go for a walk. It's kind of very safe to do so. There's a lot of expats in Barbados. It is known as the jet setters kind of Caribbean. So it's got a very kind of safe upmarket kind of feel outside of the resort as well. So they don't kind of restrict you to just encouraging you to stay in resort. Absolutely, they want you to see the island. So yeah, absolutely.
Again, that sounds really good. Obviously, just to finish with, for someone who's thinking about visiting the resort and maybe tagging along there, what would your kind of key recommendations and advice be for someone who's kind of potentially going to visit?
I would say, if I was going back again, because it's very, very easy to twin with Grenada, which it would be a really nice mix. So if you're wanting to go for longer, because a lot of the flights now, they kind of keep passengers on board. So when we got off in Barbados, they stay on just for that extra hour and a half to go on to Grenada. The Sandals Grenada would give you a much more boutique feel. So you can have that real boutique experience on a beautiful little island, combined then with kind of Barbados. So you can have a really nice balance of seeing kind of two resorts in one. And that's easy for us to put together in Twin Centre. And then you'd just be on the same flight and the same on the return. So personally, if you're going for longer, I'd say that would be a really, really nice mix to do, because you've got the busier resort and then literally can go to a very much more boutique experience.
Brilliant. That's great insight. Thank you very much for your time again. I know you've obviously got a very busy schedule, so thank you very much.
You're welcome.
If you'd like to book Sandals Royal Barbados with exclusive savings, or if you would like to ask Deana a question, call free at 0800 707 6229. Alternatively, visit our website at www.travelclubelite.com and inquire to save. Be sure to also follow us on Facebook, Instagram and X using the @TravelClubElite, and keep track of our upcoming episodes on all good streaming platforms.